Hi everyone, my name is DrChinweEgbunike-Umegbolu, and thank you so much for inviting me to present my paper. And I've chosen to present For the Love of ADR, Mass Awareness Advocacy. My name is DrChinweEgbunike-Umegbolu. I'm a part-time lecturer from the University of Brighton and also the host and producer of Expert Views on Alternative Dispute Resolution ever. So let me go to the next slide. I've got only 10 minutes to 15 minutes, yeah. So let me go for it. So what is a multi-door courthouse? This is, or what I call revolving doors mechanism. I call it revolving doors mechanism because of its flexibility, because of the benefits associated with the multi-door courthouse or the court-connected ADR. So the revolving doors, according to Cambridge Dictionary, can be described as an entrance to a large building, usually in organization that people tend to enter and leave very quickly, you know. So it's a door, yeah. So in other words, it connotes easier and speedier movement, which is what ADR entails, you know. So in simple terms, ADR can be defined as an alternative to the court's litigation, you know. And the multi-door courthouse is a court-connected ADR that is located in the court premises. So I'm using the Lagos multi-door courthouse and the ESMDC Enugu State multi-door courthouse as a case study. These are located, these mediation centers are located in Nigeria. Lagos is in the western part of Nigeria, and Enugu is in the eastern part of Nigeria. So ADR mechanism includes mediation, arbitration, negotiation, conciliation, and early neutral evaluation. These mechanisms are employed by a neutral party in an informal or formal process to settle disputes or conflicts between two or more parties in a bid to find a peaceful solution. In hindsight, the bed of ADR was born out of delay, frustration, and exorbitant costs associated with the adversary system of settling disputes. The above statement encompasses both the developed and developing nations. However, the LMDC in Nigeria is the given context, and Enugu State multi-door courthouse, which I already stated. So the research I conducted, which I already talked about, indicates the urgent need for mass awareness of the society to be fully aware that litigation is not the only option, that there are other alternatives. This is because ADR has helped the justice system in different jurisdictions, both the developed and developing economies in America, you know, in Nigeria, in the United Kingdom, to dispense and justice swiftly. Thus, it has restored trust, hope, belief, and confidence of the litigants and disputants in the judicial system. So the methodology and method, this is just a qualitative case study, interviewed parties and stakeholders. Then was the concept of mass awareness advocacy in ADR, just basically what I just mentioned, to educate people that there is an alternative. How do we do that? Education, which the ADR, the court-connected ADR, that's in Nigeria, LMDC and ESMDC, they've done a good job. They've done various awareness through campaigns, conferences, radio, jingles. However, they're yet to start a podcast, and I've started a podcast, where I talk about the importance of yet to be users, to approach or to use the alternative dispute resolution to settle their disputes. But there are still need for more awareness, which is why I decided to write a paper on. This is important because the user psych is still litigation oriented, thus the need for continuous mass awareness through technology on these many benefits, such as party autonomy, the flexibility of the process, it saves time and it is cost effective. And the need to go back to the grassroots, like the primary schools, secondary schools, and universities and trade persons, is really essential, to reposition people's mindsets or psych at a very early stage, Thus, I recommend that ADR should be part of the school curriculum, not only as an elective, but as a compulsory course, because it is also, being made available in litigation. Litigation is compulsory in all the schools in the world. So what this does is that it creates a balanced story rather than a one-sided story, as it is in the case in Nigeria and in some parts of the United Kingdom. So it's essential to point out that in the university system or educational system, 93% of education is focused on litigation in the university and law school in Nigeria and most jurisdictions, which means that basically only 7% of the teaching is about ADR. So the rest is litigation, which I already stated the need why it should be ADR should be compulsory. Now, what that means is that if students graduate eventually, their first port of call is litigation, because they started at early age to just teach, to know about litigation and nothing about ADR. So few schools in England are changing that. And in Nigeria as well, there are changes being done, but it's still not yet compulsory for secondary schools or universities. I'm not even talking about the primary school or nursery school. There's no talk about ADR, which is why this is really necessary, to go back, in educational system and, put this as a priority, to make this a priority for all schools to, start teaching ADR. And in the case of podcast bias, of course, the research conducted also shows that the lawyers are biased as well. They think that this is going to make them poorer, if lots of people start using ADR instead of litigation. Of course, they wouldn't be getting clients, but this is not true. Though a lot have been done on by the ESMDC and LMDC on advocacy, training lawyers, but still there are still many lawyers that are yet to embrace ADR, as my research indicated. So I recommend a podcast would be an antidote to the subject matter mentioned, because it's fair to say that there is bias everywhere, especially where someone is not yet familiar with the subject matter. Human beings tend to either criticize or ignore what they are not familiar with. So realistically, the human mind is such that it takes something that it does not know and shoves it into one category in mind. And sometimes this knowledge is inaccurate. So that's according to Esther Ebibo. Hence, the one thing that takes away bias beyond every other thing is personal experience, personal awareness as well, So consequently, the need to give people the opportunity to express this subject matter is through awareness, which already stated. So furthermore, if more lawyers train to become mediators, they will also create more opportunities to let their expertise be known. More so, awareness campaigns opportunities whereby traditional leaders, religious leaders who have a substantial influence in the society can give words of credence and endorse the use of ADR and MDC platforms. This would be a significant step in the right direction. And of course, lecturers, that are yet to embrace ADR, of course, the use of technology can also be employed to educate them, and they can also transfer this knowledge, through teaching to their students. So it is essential. This is a enumerated factor that would take away or solve subject matter bias regarding lawyers and other individuals that are yet to embrace ADR. So it's essential to point out that social media can be a great tool in advancing ADR and MDC agenda. It can be adequately and sufficiently utilized to create more awareness on the above subject matter. I think, like I said, I started a podcast channel to create awareness on ADR. And in just about 2 months of starting with over 5 episodes, it has amassed over 500 views and over 30 countries are listening to this listening to the subject matters discussed in the podcast. So imagine if an organization like LMDC or ESMDC or any other ADR organization should start one with all the content it has. I'll leave that to your imagination. So, conclusion, I recommend social media, particularly podcast channel, because the world is fast becoming a global village where anyone and anybody can now access the internet and listen, and can, tune in and listen to different advocates discussing ADR or court-connected ADR. The wordings will be simple words so that a layman can easily understand, and this would be distributed on different social media platforms. For example, EVA. So, however, informal training from home should come first. Parents should teach their children about these alternatives too. Thank you so much. I hope I've not exceeded my time. Bye-bye. Thanks.